Hello, dear students. I am Samir Velankar and I welcome all of you to this seventh video on the topic normalization. In this video, we will see how to determine candidate key using functional dependencies. Now, in the previous video, we saw what is functional dependency, what is the use. This is one of the use of functional dependency, determining candidate key, and we also saw a gate question in the earlier video. Now, before I actually zoom out all this content so that you can read it properly, first of all, what is candidate key? Now, I think it is expected that all students know what is candidate key when you're watching this video, but still, as an example, suppose I have a table R which has four attributes A, B, C, D, that is four columns, and suppose A, attribute A determines B, C, D. Now you watch, attribute A is determining all the other attributes of the table. Of course, don't miss out A also in this list because A can determine A itself. This is trivial dependency. That means there is an attribute called A which can determine all other keys, all other values in that particular tuple. So given a value of A, you can easily find value of all other attributes. Such an attribute is called candidate key. It is not necessary that the candidate key will be a single attribute. It can happen, for instance, it can happen that we have got a table, let's say R again, and R is having, say, 5 columns, A, B, C, D, E, 5 attributes, and we have a dependency like this. A, B, both together can determine C, D, E. Of course, don't miss out that AB can determine value of AB itself. This is trivial. What that means is, in combination, these two when come together, column A and column B or attribute A and attribute B, these two together can determine all other attributes. Then AB together will be called as candidate key. I hope you have understood the definition of candidate key again. Now there is one more term called super key. Before we read the whatever is written in black, what is a super key? Now take this example. You know, if you know AB is a candidate key, okay, as in this example, AB is a candidate key, then whatever you add to this AB will become a super key. Now you just tell me, if AB can determine everything, all the attributes, okay, then suppose we say, what is A, B, C? Can it determine everything? All three keys here, A, B, C, can they determine everything? Come on. You know that AB itself can determine all the attributes, isn't it? That means if you add C to this, combination of A, B and C can surely determine A, B, C, D, E, because we already knew that AB alone can determine everything. Now this ABC, what we have written here, is called a super key. Actually, super key is nothing but some attribute added or many attributes added to the candidate key. That means super key SK is going to be superset of candidate key CK. Now I have written this equal to here because if AB is the candidate key, I am again marking this AB. If AB is the candidate key, then AB is the super key also. We have added nothing to it. But then genuinely super key is nothing but extending the candidate key by putting some more attributes in that. Isn't it so? For instance, in a student table, just imagine a student table. We have roll number. We have roll number. then name of the student, then maybe address of the student, and phone number of the student. Now, roll number alone, if roll number of a student is given, college people can easily find out name, address, and phone. That's how every student is recognized in an institution. Then roll number can determine name, address, and phone, the other attributes, which means roll number is a candidate key. But now you tell me, if roll number and name together is given to us, let's say this person is Samir. Then somebody goes to institutional office and says that I want details of person whose roll number is 100 and name is Samir. Well, can the details be gathered? Yes, of course, because this 100 itself, isn't it? To know the details of the student. Now you have added some more attributes to this. Remember, this roll number, only roll number was candidate key. As soon as you put something more to the candidate key, you get this roll number and name as super key. So how do you find, the aim of this chapter is how do you find candidate key using functional dependencies? I'll just increase the font. Yeah, this is okay. Now you see, let's start exactly with an example. We want to find out the candidate key. That's the aim. Check the question. We are given a relation, we are given a table ABCD attributes, and these are the dependencies given, which I am underlining. The question asked is, who is the candidate key? Now, the procedure to do this is you find closure set of the attributes. You find out what is the closure set of A, that is A plus. Now you recall, what do you mean by closure set? It is set of all the attributes which A alone can determine. So looking at the dependencies, first of all, yes, first of all, A closure will contain A itself because A determines A. Then using the first dependency, A determines B, which I have ticked. Because A is there in the closure set, it will bring B in the closure set. And now as B has arrived in the closure set, this dependency which I am ticking here, B determines CD, will bring C and D also. That's it. We had only 4 attributes, isn't it? And all 4 attributes are there in the closure set of A. That means A alone can determine all the attributes. Then A is surely the candidate key. So we found out the answer. You can check out that although I have not shown the working here because I thought you know the closure set. So I have already written A plus is ABCD. A alone can determine all the attributes. Hence A is the candidate key. So in short, if you are asked to find out the candidate key, you have to just find out the closure set of attributes. But that's not it. You see, okay, A is the candidate key, but we are supposed to find out all possible candidate keys. Who knows that B alone also recognizes, also determines all the attributes, isn't it? So let's try to find B plus, B closure. Will B recognize or will B determine all the attributes? B closure will contain B, definitely. Now, as B is there in this particular closure set, we can use the functional dependency which I am ticking here. B determines CD. So B is going to bring in C and D. Now let's see whether we can bring in something more. Check that C is now there in the closure. So this functional dependency which I am ticking here, C brings in D, but D is already there. And now can we use this dependency which I am encircling, A determines B? No, we can't. Because B, C or D which are there in this closure set are not determining A anyway. We don't have B determines A. We don't have C determines A. We don't have D determines A. Have you found out something interesting here? That A, attribute A, is never on the right hand side of any dependency. I repeat, A is never on the right hand side of any dependency. That means absolutely no attribute is going to determine A. Keep this in mind. But then B closure is definitely BCD. So we see that B alone cannot determine all the attributes. So B is not a candidate key. Okay. What about C closure? Just see, C closure will contain C, definitely. C closure is going to contain C. And as C is there, C determines D. D will be brought in. And now observe, no more dependencies can be used because neither C nor D is there on the left hand side. Neither the combination of both is there on the left hand side. So nothing more can be brought in. What that means is C closure is containing only two attributes, C and D. So C alone cannot determine all the attributes. So C is also not a candidate key. Similarly, D plus, interesting, D plus will contain D definitely. And now once D is there in this closure, what can D bring in this closure set? Nothing. Because you see all the dependencies, we don't have D on the left hand side anywhere so that we can bring in something which is there on the right hand side into the closure set. So D also cannot determine all the attributes. So D is also not the candidate key. All right. Now you might feel okay. So now out of A, B, C, D, A is the candidate key and the problem is over. No, I said we have to find out all the possible candidate keys. Now the point here is that out of A, B, C, D, out of A, B, C, D, we saw A is the candidate key, right? But B was not candidate key, C was not, and D was not. But who knows? B, C in combination, if you combine B and C, that means take both their values together, it might recognize all other attributes. So BC might be candidate key. I don't know. I am going to find it. Similarly, CD can be a candidate key or BD can be candidate key. So that means we have to find out combination of these attributes also, and we have to find out all possible candidate keys. Now listen very carefully. A is the candidate key. You know A is CK. Then there is no point in finding AB. Please try to understand. There is no point in using this combination because this is a super key. That's why I explained what is candidate key and super key early in this lecture. Come on, if A is candidate key, then what's the sense in asking is AB a candidate key? Because A alone A alone can recognize everything. Then whatever you combine with AB will recognize, isn't it? So there is no sense in finding AB, AC, AD. These cannot be candidate keys. In short, there is no point in asking somebody is candidate key in which A is involved now. We have dropped this particular possibility because anything added with A is going to be super key. So out of four different attributes, coming again, out of four different attributes, A, B, C, D, we know A is candidate key and now we will not go ahead with AB or AC or AD. It is surely supposed to recognize everything. But we will go with the combination of this BCD. We will try BC, then BD and CD. These are the only three possibilities with two attributes. So what is going to be BC closure? Just check. BC closure, when you find, it will definitely contain BC. Correct? Now, as B is there in this closure set, B will bring in CD, observe. But C is already there, but D joins. Isn't it so? Now you see, due to this C, we can use this dependency which I am marking, which will bring in D, but D is already there. And now, can we use this dependency? A determines B. No, we can't. Because A determines B cannot be used because A is not there in the closure set yet, so it can't bring in anything new. So that's it. We have checked all the dependencies and BCD is the closure set of BC plus. That means BC alone cannot determine all the attributes. Hence, BC is not the candidate key. So still we have only one candidate key, that is A. Okay, let's find out BD plus. I mean, is BD a candidate key? Now BD will contain BD obviously. And because B is there, it will bring in CD, isn't it? Correct? Oh, so I missed out C over here. I'm so sorry. It will bring in C. B will bring in C because B recognizes CD or determines CD. Now watch, we have three attributes here, B, D, and C. Now C here can bring in D due to this dependency, but D is already there in the attribute set. And now can we use this dependency? A determines B. No, because A is still not there in that attribute closure. So BD plus is going to contain only BDC. Hence, it is not a candidate key. Similarly, what about CD plus? CD plus is again CD. You observe CD plus will contain CD, definitely. Definitely CD plus will contain CD. And if C is present in the attribute set, then C determines D will bring in D, but D is already there. Correct? D is already there. And now we cannot use this dependency because B is still not there in the attribute set closure. And A determines B cannot be used because A is also not there in the closure. So CD alone cannot determine all the attributes. So CD is not a candidate key. So by the way, how many attributes we had, you see? We had 4 attributes. Something really interesting I'm telling. We had 4 attributes. A, B, C, D. 4 attributes. How many subsets can we create using these 4 attributes? Now, first one is null set. Next one is A, then B, then C, correct? Then D. So I'm creating a power set of all subsets. Then I can have AB, then AC. After that, I can have AD. Then I will have BC, BD, isn't it? BD and CD. And finally, I will have 3 keys also. That means ABC, ABD. Correct? How many such subsets I will have? 16. Because if there are 4 attributes in my table, then the number of subsets I can create is 2 raised to 4. Isn't it so? 2 raised to 4. That means 16 possibilities are there, and any of these 16 possibilities can be candidate key. Are you understanding? So what we did, instead of checking all the 16 possibilities, listen very carefully. Instead of checking all the 16 possibilities, we checked smallest possibilities first. A, B, C, D, single key, single attribute, and we saw A is candidate key. Okay, good. Now, if A is candidate key, something really interesting. AB cannot be candidate key, AC cannot be candidate key, AD cannot be candidate key, ABC, ABD cannot be candidate key. Why? Because these are super keys now, isn't it? So many facts have been removed. And then we tested B is not a candidate key. We saw B plus was not containing all the attributes. C is not a candidate key. D is not a candidate key, isn't it? So there was a point in finding BC, BD, CD and all this, but all these also were not the candidate keys. I hope you are understanding. So as soon as you find out the smaller candidate key, then you know that whatever is added to that smaller candidate key will be a super key. And then you will never use that attribute for checking whether it is a candidate key or not. I hope you have understood. By the way, in this example, only A is the candidate key alone. All right, here is example 2. We will just concentrate on this example now. This is very interesting. You watch. These are the functional dependencies given. A determines B, B determines C, C determines D, D determines A. Then who is the candidate key? Now you watch, if you find A closure, the smallest attribute we have started, one attribute, isn't it? A closure, it will contain A, B, C, D. Find it out. It will contain A, B, C, D. That means A determines everything. So A is the candidate key. Similarly, if you find B plus, B closure, it also contains all the attributes, C plus also and D plus also. So all are candidate keys, A, B, C, D. Now you tell me, if A, B, C, D alone are the candidate keys, then is there any sense in finding AB plus? Or is there any sense in finding CD plus? Absolutely not. Because individually single attribute can determine everything. Then all other chances have become super keys. So we have only 4 candidate keys and there is no sense in continuing with this particular problem. I hope you have understood this. Now, just check. There is a GATE 2014 question. When we come back in the next video, I will tell you some tricks, genuinely some tricks to find out the candidate key very quickly, okay, from the given functional dependencies. Thank you very much.